Hi, welcome to the Israel First television program from our studios in Jerusalem. Great to have you with us. My name is Martin Blackham. I'm with my wife Natalie Blackham. Great to have you with us, Natalie, because normally if I'm doing the program, Natalie's behind the scenes, or if Natalie's doing the program, I'm behind the scenes, but we're together today for a special Israel First update to let you know what we're doing, to let you know some of the projects, some of the news, especially the news. We're going to talk about what's happening in the land of Israel. We've got Natalie's going to be talking a bit today about a theme, Lashon Hara, and she's going to be telling you all about that. And we've also got some information about guests, some exciting news about guests who are coming into the studio. You're not going to want to miss any of this. So the first thing, Natalie, is we've had an email. We really love to receive your emails. Don't forget you can email us at info@israelfirst.org. And we've had an email and letters as well. We like letters from our viewers. This is a email from Jeremy from South Africa, who's watching on Angel TV, and it's thanks to Brother Sadhu and the wonderful people at Angel Television, Natalie, that we can come to your homes through Angel TV across the world, wherever you're watching. And we especially appreciate hearing people from different parts of the world. So wherever you're watching in the world, do contact us and we will try and read your email on the show. Jeremy from South Africa says, my wife and I have been followers of Israeli matters since my first visit to Israel in 1990. Tonight is the first time we've watched your program. It's on at 8:30, I believe, on the stations on Angel Television on a Friday night. And we have made a note to watch every week. So thank you for that encouraging email, Jeremy. We really appreciate it.
And welcome. Yeah.
And thank you. You know, for us, it's very important because to get feedback, and thank you for taking the time to write to us.
And this reminds me, like they came in 1990, and suddenly you are hooked into Israel when you come to the land. As you say, sometimes it's like the fifth gospel when you come into the land, because suddenly you can touch it, smell it, you know, all of that. And but also we were so happy to be able to be here and like connect with you all around the world. So even if you are not able to go to Israel, you can have a taste of what's happening here. And we love to have we love to be together, but we like to have also guests, so you can feel a bit of the heartbeat of what's happening here. So it's important. And
you know that you can also be involved at home, can't they, Natalie? If you, we very much appreciate those people who are already supporting us, but you can today. They can make a decision to help us, to stand with us, to support us, because it's because of our generous donors, our generous supporters, that we're able to be here today
and carry on
and do the work and increase the work, because there's projects that we've got. We've got a project in a control room, an editing room, to add new screens. We would like to increase the capacity in the studio so we can have a panel. And all these are made possible because of people who are making donations, and every donation really counts. All the information's on the website. You can go to www.israelfirst.org. There's a support button. You just press on that and it'll give you the information. Also on the end of the program, there's our address, and it's on the screen as well. There's our address, our email address, and you can contact us.
You're right. And I was saying, funny enough, you know, we do a newsletter that you can ask us when you go on our website. And this week I was saying specifically that we're like David and Goliath. We are the little David with his 5 pebbles, and we need the pebbles to be able to do what we have to do. And you see, like Goliath is like the world media who really stand against Israel, which is sometimes it's not just against Israel. You know, when you see the thing, it's like being against God, which is very interesting. Again, it's a whole topic in itself. And so if you want to help, you know, help David to have the 5 pebbles so we can do what we have to do here, and we carry on the work, and you can see what's happening here in the land of Israel is so important. You know, we've been living now for 7 years here, and it takes time to really understand the culture, to understand what's happening in Israel, and the conflicts and why, and you know, all these kind of things. So we love to share it with you, all the knowledge that we are learning, like with the Hebrew language is the same. We don't want to keep it for ourselves.
You're a partner when you join with us in this work with Israel First television program. You are a partner to make not just this all happen, but to enable other people to have a window into Israel, to see people they wouldn't normally see, and it enables you to see what's happening today in Israel and to get the news, to get and to hear from guests
and
that
maybe,
we have.
Yeah, maybe tell them also about the channel, the YouTube channel.
Oh yes, and you can go if you've missed any of our programs. I know some of you have written in and said we missed the program. You can go to our YouTube channel, Israel First, and all the information's on the website.
But that's it. You need to go first on our website so you can pick up the YouTube.
And there's a link on our website, Natalie. You go to our website and you click on the YouTube link, and then you can also, by the way, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, and that's a way that you'll be able to receive the YouTube on a regular basis into your mailbox for those who are savvy with this kind of thing. And don't forget, there's also the Facebook. You can go. There's we do a news story, a daily news story on Facebook.
You are doing a news. You are doing a very good job.
Thank you. And it's Israel First television program. Israel First Facebook page. And if you like us, that really helps as well. And then, as well as that, we also do a newsletter, an email newsletter. Natalie does an email newsletter with all the news. Lots of information in it. Natalie does a feature in it each week, and you can subscribe to that at our contact button on the website. And as I say, donating is so easy, especially with PayPal. You can donate with a credit card or a debit card, and the details are on the website. If you have difficulty with the computers or whatever, then do ask a friend, and they can give you all the print it off, and they can.
Or you can send us an email and say, okay.
Or write to us. You can write to our address, and we will give the information. You can do. We do accept checks and to our Blackham Family Ministries details, so you can get that. You can get that to us, and that really helps us doing the program. Now, we were talking a bit about the guests that are coming in, Natalie, and we've got. David Rubin's going to be coming in. We've had David Rubin when we've done programs in the past, but it's the first time he's been on the Israel First television program. So David Rubin's going to be coming in. He's going to be talking in here about his new book, which isn't this one. It's called More Sparks from Zion, but he's going to be coming in and speaking to you. Very exciting guest. He used to be the mayor of Shiloh, and he's going to be speaking about his latest book, about the developments that's happening with the new Trump administration and what's happening with the construction and all sorts of things in the Judea and Samaria. And just very quickly, we've also has been in the studio, but you're going to be able to watch that program, is Stephen Curry, The Backyard of Jesus. He's a pastor in Bethlehem, and he's going to be coming in and speaking about his book, The Backyard of Jesus. He's come into the studio. Now, I know because of time, Natalie, we're going to really have to have your feature, because I've got lots to talk about, but I know that people are really going to enjoy your feature on Lashon Hara. And
okay, so today I wanted to speak about Lashon Hara, which means the evil tongue. Do you remember we had like a program with Karen prior, and she was speaking about Ayin Tov and Ayin Ha, which is like the good eye and the bad eye. But there is also the Lashon Hara, is like the Lashon is lips, and Hara is evil. So it's like we need to be careful what's coming out of our lips. And it's something that I discovered when I started to, when we together started to discover the Jewish side of Christianity. Is one of the first things that really struck me, how Lashon Hara was so important for the Jewish people. And like, you know, when they have also Yom Kippur, they really have specific prayers to say sorry for what is coming out of their mouth. And it's really they take it very seriously. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is good, because it is. And I think one of the things behind is because they know that words are so important. Like we spoke already about the Hebrew language, how every letter is powerful and can create. So obviously we have the power of creation with our words, which is like amazing, beautiful. But sometimes we use it for the wrong things. So we need to just learn or relearn to use it the proper way. As we know, we can curse or we can bless people. So this is very important. So I had a little story, and I tried to say it kind of short. It's like an old tale that is to explain a bit, because you can
It's an old Jewish tale.
An old Jewish tale. And the thing, because you can speak about it, you can have a lot of teaching and all of that, but this tale really pick up all the, it's a wonderful story. So the story is like, there is a man, he's rich, he's beautiful, handsome, but the trouble is, he's a merchant and he travels around and he hears a lot of stories, and sometimes it's good to tell stories, but sometimes there is gossip of so and so, and you hear stories when you go around and you are happy to bring the story to other people. So deep in his heart, he knew that sometimes he was using his tongue not the right way, but it's like people are quite happy to hear gossips or things that maybe you shouldn't know. And there is some very beautiful verses in Proverbs to speak about that. It's like a very nice piece of food that it goes deeply inside of you when you hear something that you shouldn't hear. And I know it's true, but we should train ourselves and we shouldn't be like that. So this man was like that, okay? And specifically, he spoke about, he heard story, which was true, okay, about a businessman. But it's not because things are true that you still have to bring all the story out. And you know that news travel very fast. So he was doing that to a businessman. And unfortunately, because of this story going here and there, the businessman lost his business and was in a terrible state. And he went to see his rabbi in his community. And the rabbi, knowing his community very well, said, he didn't say anything to him, but he said, I know who started that, and I need to speak to him to try to rectify the thing, rectify what's happening. So he called this man who likes to speak a bit too much, and he said, can you come and can we speak together? So they were speaking together, and he tells the story. Do you know what's happening about this businessman? And he said, no. He said, okay, because of what you started to say, now he lost his business. It's terrible. And so when he was put in front of this fact, the man started to feel bad. And the rabbi said, okay, you know what? Go back home and go to fetch a pillow. So the man said, okay, well, I'm rich. I have lots of pillow. I can spare one. So he goes home, bring back the pillow, go into the office of the rabbi and say, okay, I have my pillow now. Here, I really don't understand why you're asking me to have this pillow, but here we go. And the rabbi is saying, okay, now take this pillow and rip it open. And the man was like, I don't understand why you're asking me to do these things. And so the rabbi was waiting for him to do it, and the man saying and say, okay, I have to do what the rabbi is saying, because maybe he wants to tell me, he wants to bring some things to me, like deeper for my life. He's my rabbi, okay, which is like a leader to help him growing. So he take a knife, rip the pillow open, and suddenly, obviously, all the feathers were going everywhere in the office of the rabbi. And the rabbi, meanwhile, was opening the window, and suddenly, with some wind, there was feathers in the office, feathers going out and everywhere. And the rabbi said to the man, he said, okay, now you have to take a new pillowcase and you put back all the feathers in it and everything will be like before. And the man looked at the rabbi and said, Rabbi, I can't do that. You know, I mean, they all just went out. Now there is all, I can't pick them all up. It's just impossible work to do. He says, so this is what you've done with your words, went everywhere, and you are suddenly not in power. You are not in charge of your words anywhere. They were here and there and there. And you should put them back all, and you can't. So you see what you can do with your word. So now go to see the businessman, and you have to speak, and you have really to ask forgiveness for what you've done. But not only that, you take a year and you learn about Lashon Hara. You learn and you find in the word, you know, the power of the word, how important it is of what's coming out of your mouth. So the man did it, and he's done it so well that he was speaking to the people, and he became a better man. And I think I love this story because it's like you can imagine, you see the pillow, and it's like it's impossible. So we need to be very, very careful what we are saying with our words.
And it's really about retraining the mind, that you have to think in a different pattern.
The mind and that one, because this one, I like James, it's written also in the New Testament. He said, like, you have a tiny little thing in your mouth. And he's like, well, you can do so much damage with it, or you can do so much good. So we need really to...
Which is interesting, because, you know, it's like the program, like Israel First, is there to give you the truth about what's happening in Israel, because like Natalie was saying, people can say things, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's true. And also they can say true things, but it doesn't mean it's the full picture of what's really going on. And what we like to do on Israel First is to bring you the latest news from Israel, to bring you up to date what's going on in the land. And I've been out and got a few of the newspapers. This is the Jerusalem Post, and it says, this is the headlines, it says, Israel announces major settlement construction plan. And this is so exciting, Natalie, because they're going to be constructing new houses in what's known as Judea and Samaria, which is, some people call it the biblical Israel. And then, of course, in the media, where there's a lot of bias, they say that it's called the West Bank. Mm-hmm. So it says, Israel announces major settlement plan. This is just as we're coming into the studio. Obviously, when we're doing news, it's when we're in the studio, and so the news can change. But this is something exciting. Why? Because there's been a freeze. Mm-hmm. Basically, the Jewish people have not been allowed to build, unbelievably, not been allowed to build in their own land, even though
because of pressure, from international pressure.
Particularly from America. With Obama, they weren't allowed to construct houses in Judea and Samaria. And it says 2,500 units to be built. 4 days after the inauguration of US President Donald Trump, Israel announced plans to build an additional 2,500 units inside Judea and Samaria. We're returning to normal life in Judea and Samaria, Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman, who actually lives in Judea and Samaria. Mm-hmm. According to the statement, Lieberman and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu agreed to approve plans for units in answer to local housing needs. Netanyahu says, we are building and we will continue to build. So absolutely fantastic news.
You are so right, because the thing is, and we know stories like, for example, in Efrat, is like they couldn't build anymore. But like the families are growing, there is weddings, and the family are quite large here, and it's like they could not build any more houses. So this is like a great news. And so there is like the population growing, plus the people who are coming, you know, making Aliyah, coming back to the land. So we need building, we need new houses.
Yeah, and
so it's fantastic.
It means that families who've had to move away can move back to where they live, because the Jewish people are very much family orientated. So people who've had to move out of the community can now live in that community. So it's an amazing thing, and it's retaking the land. So it's very strategic. It's fantastic news. Well, as we come into the studio this week, we've also had the inauguration of a new president, President Donald Trump. Now, at that inauguration, Rabbi Hier was invited. Apparently, he's the believed to be the first rabbi to speak at a presidential inauguration since 1985. And at this inauguration, Rabbi Hier cited Psalm 137, and it says, Rabbi Hier tellingly cites at the inauguration of President Trump, he cites Psalm 137 in a blessing, which is, and I'll just turn to that, and you can look at this at home in Psalm 137.
If I forget it's about if I forget the Jerusalem.
Yes, it's Psalm 137 verse 5. If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. And Natalie and I were talking about this, and it's very interesting because it's in the context of the rivers of Babylon and putting down their harps, and it's the skill of playing the harp. It can be one of the meanings, but it could also be just that the strength of a person is forgotten when they forget about Jerusalem. Now, talking about Jerusalem and looking at Jerusalem in the news, we've also had so much construction going on in the city of Jerusalem and in Israel in particular, in Israel generally. And in particular, we've had the construction of tunnels on Road 1. Now, because many of you at home won't know what this is, Road 1 is the main road that connects Tel Aviv, the airport, with Jerusalem. It's the way to get in. There are other ways, but it's the main way for business and everything, and transport, trucks. Everything has to come basically through Road 1. So having these tunnels has speeded up the transportation of goods. So Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, opened the tunnels for Road 1. And let me read the story. It says, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu opened the new tunnels for Road 1, calling it a historic moment for the road to the capital, noting that this was the best version yet of a road that has, now listen to this, served generations of pilgrims. It says, this is the road. Netanyahu still speaking. He says, this Harel tunnel that we're inaugurating today eliminates a dangerous curve and will provide a boost for Jerusalem. According to estimates by the Transportation Ministry, the tunnels and bridge are expected to cut travel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem to about 30 minutes. And this is such an important route for everybody traveling into Jerusalem. And it's interesting, he talks about the pilgrims coming.
This reminds me the other lady that we were speaking with, she wasn't saying tourists, she was saying pilgrims, because they know the state of Jerusalem is not just a tourist attraction, but is also for pilgrims, is for people who are coming to see God and to see His people.
And now when you come to Israel, or if you can come, you can go from Ben Gurion Airport into Jerusalem, and you'll see these new tunnels as you're coming into the entrance. And what's interesting in where they built them as well is in Mevaseret Zion, which is what? It's
the good news of Zion.
It's where the pilgrims would first see the temple. So it's been great to be with you. Thank you so much for joining Natalie and myself for the Israel First television program, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Wonderful to be with you today again, and today we are looking at the letter Samer, which is the 15th letter of the alphabet, and who has 23 letters, so we are already more than halfway through, so it's wonderful. The letter Samer carries the representation of support, and so it represents to see the divine support, and as it is a round circle, and is that God is supporting us and surrounding us. And there is another name also that we use very often here in Israel when we go to the shop and suddenly it's closed. And it says Sagur, Sagur is closed. So it's one name that you can learn also. So we say that the name of Samer is like the picture is the circle. So we can see also a picture in the Bible of a fire a wall of fire, like is written in Zechariah, that God is our protecting wall. And it's said in Hebrew, Chomat Esh Saviv, a surrounding wall of fire. So many times we can remember ourselves, God is our protector. He's there to surround us and to protect us, and He's always with us. So it's very important. One other thing also that we can see is, again, with this circle, you see, is like you can see the outside and the inside. And you can see, and we can see like the position of Israel is in the middle of the globe of the world, and Israel has Jerusalem, and Jerusalem has the Mount Moriah, and the Mount Moriah had the temple, and in the temple was the presence of God. There is a beautiful passage in 2 Chronicles 7 where it was the inauguration of the first temple, and Solomon is finishing to do all the thing, and suddenly the presence of God is coming, and everybody fall on the floor, and the priest can't even come. It is God's fire who comes to consume the sacrifices. And it's to show how God loves to be in the middle of His people. He's really our support, and we can remember that. So we can remember from today there is two things that we can learn. The name Samer, which means support. And there is also Sagur, when we say when the shop is closed, and we say it's closed, I'm sorry, Sagur, Sagur. And this is what the name of Samer, we can learn today about it. And I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Israel First television program. We hope you enjoyed that Hebrew segment. We love to hear from you by email. That's info@israelfirst.org. Visit our website, www.israelfirst.org. And remember, we're the program that looks at the land, the people, and the language.